creating a larger audience. So if you're an event planner, hang out at banking functions. Why? Because they have events. Go to architectural functions. Why? Because they have events. Go to wedding functions. Why? Because they have events. Don't hang out with other event planners. I gave this story earlier too. And it's not to make light of this situation, but it's just to get you thinking about, what kind of audience should I be in front of with what I do? If you're an author and you've written on domestic violence or abuse or things of that nature, that's a niche market. That's a kind of a hard sell, right? So you have to figure out, who can I get in front of to sell this book? Who can I get in front of that's going to need this book on abuse or domestic violence, whatever the case might be? A perfect audience for you is going to be shelters, domestic violence conferences and seminars, psychologists that deal with domestic violence. So that means you might want to be at doctors' conferences, right? Because they're going to be talking about, God, I really wish I had a better way to communicate this to Jane. Or I really wish I knew somebody that has been through this that could speak on this situation. Oh, well, guess what? I wrote a book about that. Bam. So when you're networking, think about the audience that you're going to go in front of. Who are you spending time with? Who are you networking with? Are they your customer? Are they your client? We're going to talk about the difference between a customer and client and a different blab, but that's what you want to be thinking about when you're talking about, how do I broaden my audience? How do I network to engage people to buy from me or to increase or develop or broaden my audience? Be thinking about the audiences that you're going in front of. The other one is, don't talk first. Be a listener. Listen. When you walk into the room, you can hear what the problems are in the room. And if you can hear what the problem is, then when you reply with what you do, you can speak to being a problem solver. So we'll stick with the realtor. We'll stick with realty and mortgage, right? I gave this example earlier, so if you've heard it before, I'm going to give it again. You walk into a room as a realtor. You walk up to a gentleman and you say, "Hey, I'm John. I can sell you a house. All you need is a 700 credit score. You can move in tomorrow, as long as you're a first-time buyer. Bam, I can sign you up." Well, guess what? John just got divorced. His wife took his kids, moved him out the house. He's filing for bankruptcy. So you just stuck your foot in your mouth. Why? Because you didn't let John speak and you walked in trying to make a sale right away off the bat. You didn't listen. You didn't. So you know what you could have done? What you could have done is walk up to John and say, "Hey, John, how are you doing today?" John could have said to you, "You know what, man, it's a rough day today. Just got divorced. My wife just took my kids. I just moved out of my house. I'm filing for bankruptcy. I don't know what I'm going to do." You could have replied, "Oh, John, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know what? Do you know that there are programs for buying a house for people with under a 600 credit score, even with the bankruptcy?" John's like, "What?" Like, "Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear you're going through these things. I hope things get better for you. I'm going to pray for you, but here's my card when you're ready to buy a house. When you're ready to buy a house, here's my card. If you ever need anything, if you ever need any assistance, just look me up." Boom. You know what happens with John? John walks out. John goes on about his life. 2 years later, John has a new job. His bankruptcy is 2 years old. Him and his wife are getting along. His kids are coming back to the house. The judge says, "You need a house in order for you to see your kids on a regular basis." Who do you think John is going to call to get that house? John calls you up. "Hey, is that program still available? I'd really like to try it. Can you see if I can qualify?" Boom. You look it up. You get John in the house. And then what happens? John is so excited that you got him into a house. All his friends see what happened. "Oh my God, how did you file for bankruptcy, get divorced, lose your kids? Now you're in a house. And how did you do that? What happened?" "Oh, you need to meet my realtor. He's great." You see how your net worked? You caught John and you caught all his friends. All you did was listen to his problem so that when you replied and he asked you what you did, you solved his problem. That's how you network. When you're networking, you should be figuring out, how can I catch this person? How can I get them in my net? How can I get them in my net? What can I offer them that's going to add value to their life? How can I solve their problem so that they want to work with me? If not now, how can I build a relationship? Because if I build a relationship, I'm also building my pipeline. That's how your network should be working for you. You should be catching people based on what you know, your expertise, and be the relationship that you built with them. Most of the people who I know, most people who can talk about my business, I've done business with them, or they've seen me, or they've heard me, or they've talked to me, or I've shown up and talked to their issue. All right, so don't talk about you. Let the other person speak first. What are their issues and problem solve them? Be a problem solver. When you speak, talk to their solutions. Show your level of expertise. I promise you every single time. If you walk into a room and you listen and you walk up talking about what you know and not sell yourself and what you can do, their ears are gonna be like, "Bink! Oh my God, what do you do? Can I get your card?" And do you know what happens when somebody asks you for your card? They call you. They share your information. You don't have to sell them. Oh, yeah, let me get my card for you. Hold on one second. Here you go. It's much easier. Okay, so the next one is don't sell on the first date. Or when you first meet me, don't try to kiss me when you first meet me. You don't know me, I don't know you. And that's what, when you try to sell somebody on the very first date, that's what it's like. It's like trying to kiss them. You just met them. If you were a realtor and you tried to kiss John on the first date, you just stuck your whole foot in your mouth. I see you, Dwayne. Give me 1 second. You just stuck your whole foot in your mouth. And that is what happens when people do networking and they don't listen first. So I'm going to sidestep for a hot second because I have Dwayne here. And you guys want to talk about networking. This is the networker of networkers. I met this man networking, and he literally took me under his wing, taught me how to get in front of video. When I met him, I had never even done a video. I met him through, I don't even remember how I met him. I met him through networking. And from meeting him through networking, we have brought up a gazillion people behind us. We have left breadcrumbs for people. He got me in front. He was the very first person to get me in front of a camera. So everything that you guys see today, literally, I owe to this man right here because I was afraid to get on the camera. But through networking, through somebody making an introduction, through somebody being able to talk about me and who I do and be able to talk about him and what he does, they brought us together. And because of that relationship, I've been on the Blue Way talk show. I've created talk shows. I've done mobilization, all because of networking. So this is my homeboy, Dwayne Bluestein. What it do, homie?
Hey, what's going on?
And this is our first Blab. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Look, I'm trying.
Is it just me? Can you guys hear him talking or no? Can anybody else hear him?
No.
You guys can hear him?
Oh,
I can't hear him. Hold on, let me see something. Oh, I'm on mute. How about that? Okay.
On mute.
So,
On mute.
I'm over here on mute. I was over here yelling at Xavier because I got pizza coming. So I had you guys on mute so that you guys wouldn't have to hear. But anyways, could you guys hear me talking all that time? Were you guys on mute to hearing me or was I on mute to hearing you? Okay, perfect. Exactly, to Kenya. Technology like a mogul. Didn't we just have technology the other day? Anyways, okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so Mr. Bluestein, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you.
What can you tell the people? You are the networkers. But before we even jump in, tell the people who you are and what you do. Go down your laundry list. Tell the people who you are and what you do, so they really get an understanding of why you can speak knowledgeably on networking.
Recently, I just started my own university, DB University, and we just partnered up with Precision High School. So we are teaching entrepreneurs how to be entrepreneurs. So it's called Entrepreneurial Learning Institute, where we take young students, kids, and not everybody is fit for college. So we wanted to teach them entrepreneurial skills and just kind of, brand them out there. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. That kind of puts an age on me, but
you still look good.
I'm still young. I'm still young.
Yes.
But I do a lot of high profile events, a lot of celebrity events, golf tournaments. We just did a football game, a college all-star football game a couple weeks ago. We just did our poker event down there in Tucson. We work a lot with the casinos. Again, we have our speaking engagements. I have tons of speaking engagements that I'm doing now. So I'm in the community on a consistent, just trying to help out the community and, brand people like yourself. We started the Mogul train a long time ago. So we never stopped. We talked about it, said we had to do it, but we never stopped.
Dude, so when I tell you guys, like, I can't even tell you guys enough about, we talk, so you guys know we have the Mogul tribe. And, I talk about how important it is to have people around you that support you, that believe in you. We talk about iron sharpening iron, moguls motivating moguls. Dwayne is a perfect example of that. Like, when I first got started, just even thinking about doing something with Mogul and training, thinking about doing something with motivation. I was just talking. I was thinking about it. He was like, do it. I was like, I don't know. I'm scared. And he was like, come on the show. I was like, well, I don't know. He was like, girl, if you don't get it together. He was like, baby girl, come on now. And then just literally took me and led me along. Like, that's how you need to network. That's how you need to know people. So Dwayne, what are like some things, like, what do you see out there in networking that people are doing good or bad? What are some tools or some skills? Because you are a networker, like, you have an amazing network. And so one of the things I was telling people is that networking is not just passing out business cards and kissing, shaking hands, kissing babies. You want to be able to call and leverage those relationships, right?
Well, I mean, the best networkers are the one that you want to reach back out to and talk to again. I mean, one of the best things that I've learned is listening. A networker is not somebody that has to go and talk about themselves and talk about everything that they've done. You really want to listen to what other people are doing, because you find key things that you don't have, key qualities that you don't have, that you want to learn more about. So I'm always trying to learn from everybody else, because I don't know everything. So I try to surround myself with A+ people, because that makes me grow and that makes my network grow. So everything that I do is trying to empower everyone else, because the more I empower other people, my brand grows. So we always use the adage, you make $1 million, I make $1 million. And that's what I stick with. So
I'm going to give you some lights, high fives on that one. So let's see. So let me tell. Okay, so see, is OD on here? OD's not on here, but Triple H is on here. She knows OD. So let me tell you guys how networking works. Like, I could give you guys multiple stories on how networking works. Like, me and Dwayne would be tag team networking. He would meet somebody and he would introduce me to them. I would meet somebody and I would introduce him to them. Like, we were like, okay, so remember we're talking about partnership networking? Perfect example of a partnership networking. We haven't got to that one yet. That's number 7. But me and Dwayne is a perfect example on how you partnership network. I don't have to be in the same room with Dwayne. Dwayne doesn't have to be in the same room with me, but we know each other's brands and businesses enough that we can refer and recommend business. So when I meet somebody, I can be like, oh, absolutely. You know what? You need to talk to my homeboy, Dwayne. So me and Dwayne would literally be going to power lunches together so I can make introductions. Like, hey, OD, this is Dwayne. We would be vetting people, making sure before we bring them on our team and bring them into the into the fold of the network, And at that time, I was it was Blue Way, which I'm still the team Blue Way. Like, I'm still part of that team. Like, that's where I started. I'm team Blue Way. I'm team Genius. I'm Mogul Tribe. I have these awesome, great networks that I get to go into, and I get to meet people. So from me and Dwayne, it was me, Dwayne, and Marcy, me and Dwayne, and OD, me, Dwayne, and Dr. Will, me, Dwayne, and I mean, like, the list goes on, right? Like, we was just power networking at one point in time.
Well, the cool thing about it is when you look back at everyone had their own journey that they were going with, but they're still doing it. And it's easy for me to kind of reach back. I mean, I have a festival on February 1st, and I called Dr. Will. I was like, Doc, I need you to speak. He was like, tell me when, and I'm there. So, we all have done our own thing, but we can continue to work with each other and help build our brands. I still look at Marcy. I still look at everybody. I don't talk to everybody all the time, but I'm always paying attention, because it's hard to hold on, because you don't want to hold on to your network. We're so tight that they can't fly and do their own thing. You want to do as much as you can to rah-rah them, but allow them to spread their own wings. So Lanee went over to Atlanta and, hey, check in with my girl over here, check with this, check with that. But I know where you're at, and I know that I can reach back out and come and get you and still build brands together. So it's all, when you network, you really want to build a true foundation of good people around you. Everybody always talks about they want to keep their circle small. My circle is humongous. Like, I have one of the biggest circles ever. Now, I have a lot of generals that are real close to me, and that circle is small. But as far as my network, there is no such thing as a small network, because I need more than one person next to me. I need thousands of people, because if I have 10,000 people around me and they introduced me to 10, my numbers have just gone through the roof. So that's my focus on a consistent.
And you are a numbers guy.
I love numbers. If you know numbers, if you can understand numbers, numbers will do wonders for you. You just need to know numbers. Everything's just about ones and zeros. And if you know numbers and you have a personality where you can reach out to, it works. It works. As I'm sitting here with the dogs barking and screaming, but jump.
It is cool. I love it. I am so glad. I haven't seen your face in forever. I thought I was going to be able to see you and connect with you when I came home for 11 days, but 11 days still wasn't enough. So hopefully the next time I come home, I'm hoping to come home for the summer. Like I literally have to be there for like a month so I can get it all in. But yeah, man, I can never say. There's so many people that I give credit to for where I'm at in my life and my career and my profession right now, because if you guys really want to see me before where I am today, like scared, not knowing what to say, how to speak, what to say. I couldn't carry on a conversation, couldn't carry on an interview. Dwayne literally nurtured me to get me to this place. I didn't want to have my own show. I didn't want to speak. I was sitting to the corner trying to like do one of these, like letting them talk. Yeah. It was all bad. So I am a product of networking, getting with this man, having him speak into me and push me out there like you can do this. And now I'm sitting here interviewing him.
Yes. And I'll sit here and take the interview. Yes, I'm listening. Ask me some questions and I'll answer them.
All right, so let's see. What else can we talk about networking? So the next thing I was going to tell the people about was partnerships, but we kind of just talked about that. But one of the things I was going to tell them about partnerships, so let's see, let me check my notes here. One of the things I was going to tell them about being on the same business level. So when you're networking, do you network with people that are from a financial standpoint, right? Do you network in rooms with people that can afford your services? Or do you network with people, with all of everyone? How important do you think that it is to network or be in front of and in the company of and the audience of people who can actually afford your services? Because that's something that I see in networking a lot of times. People go to networking events, they walk into the room and do networking, and that's not their audience. So, for example, if your product, good, or service is $750, or for yourself, you throw events and your event price, and I'm just throwing this number out there, I'm not saying what yours is, your event price is, let's say, $1,500. No, let's change that. Let's say your event price is $5,000, but you're in a room with people who only have a budget of $2,500. Let's talk about how important it is to network with the people that you can actually buy from you. Dr. Will calls it no blink clients that don't blink at the number.
Well, it's true, because my number is my number. My value is my value. My dollar is my dollar. It is what it is. But for me, I don't turn my back to anyone, because everybody has their own special knowledge that they can give me. Now, does that mean that I'm going to spend days and days talking to you and helping you and supporting you? No, probably not. I might, say, hey, this is the direction that you should go in, and when you're ready, come back. But at the end of the day, everybody's a child of God. So I stay focused on making sure that I can better everybody, because I don't know who Jesus is. So if I treat everybody like Jesus, I can't go bad. So at the end of the day, I have to do what is right, because somebody took the time to sit down with me and support me and teach me and guide me and give me the comfort to be able to be the person that I am. I mean, I wasn't wealthy from day one, so you had to put in the work. So I can't say because they can't afford me, maybe one day they will. And I want them to remember my name. So when they're able to afford me, they're calling me and saying, hey, Dwayne, please, we took your guidance, and now we're coming back to have you take us to the next step. So I don't turn my back on anyone, but your discernment is feeling who you are and understanding who you can work with. And that's one great thing about an entrepreneur. You can really feel when someone's really serious, or when they're just trying to take some of your time. And there's a lot of times I like to sit down and listen to those individuals, because it grounds me and lets me understand where I came from, how I got started, and how I am today. So the question now, I let people know my dollar amount at the beginning. And then I kind of, it's up to me then to say, okay, I'll sit and talk to you, or I won't. But the majority of the time I love to talk anyway, so I'm going to talk to anybody.
So I think that speaks to the build a relationship piece. You were, I don't know if you're here, but we talked about that earlier. So I think that what you just said speaks to knowing your audience. I think it speaks to letting the other person speak first, because if you name your price and they continue to talk to you and you continue to invest in them, you're adding value to them. So you're absolutely building that relationship with them. So when they get to where they can actually use your service, they're going to call you first.
Yes.
And then I think that speaks to being a problem solver, right? You've helped them with that problem. You've helped them with that problem at this level, so that when they get to this level, oh, you know what, Dwayne helped me get to here. Let me call him and reciprocate that. So we talked to the give and pull. I gave them the example of Karoon when he said that receiving is a giving proposition. You remember that, Dave? Mm-hmm. So always going back and pulling on things that have people have spoken to me or things I've heard in a room. Another thing that I've been talking to them about, let me see, Image and Brand says, oh, this was going to ask you. How do you, when you network, when you walk into a room, because you are a man of many talents. So when you walk into a room and you're networking and you're figuring out who you want to talk to or who you want to talk to you, what is it? Do you have a sales pitch? Do you wait for someone to ask you what it is that you do? Do you speak to their issue? Do you have a networking strategy or a tactic that you use when you network?
Not really, because everybody's especially when I'm speaking in large crowds or individuals, I listen to what they say first, because I tap into what they are asking, because they're selling me. They're selling me on them. So once I understand where they're going, then I can take my mindset and say, okay. And I know this sounds crazy, but I find out how they can benefit me in the future. So I hear what they say, I understand where they are, and then I kind of say, okay, I know I can team them up with this person and team them up with this person, because this was a missing piece that we had. So everybody that I talk to or try to work with, I try to understand their needs. If I can try to help their needs and wants, it all benefits all of us. Because if I can make them grow and make them a better person, even if I don't get anything out of it, maybe it's helpful for someone else. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to build a legacy with multiple people. And you doing it by yourself, it's not going to work. So just try to kind of help them out as best you can. But listen, it's more about listening than anything else. Because the more that you listen and understand what is going on and what they're speaking about, there's times that people just want to just get things off their chest, throw the ideas out there to make sure they're not crazy. And we're up there, no, you're not crazy. Just go ahead and do it. I mean, the best thing that I always I laugh about is when I think about with you. I mean, when you said, hey, I want to launch my television network, the online network, and we were like, okay, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Let's get this Google app going. Let's put this together. I'll team you up with Shelly Marie, and we'll brand this all together and we'll launch it. And it did. She still has her cooking. You started the Mogul Nation. I mean, it all worked out where we can all talk about it, where somebody else can say, yes, they got me started, and this is how it got started. Now, the difference is, don't keep the ideas to yourself. Like we always say, breadcrumbs. You need to give them the way to do it. You don't want to hold all the ideas to yourself. That doesn't help anyone else. You want everybody to know those ideas and the path that they have to get there. They still have to do the work, but if they're serious about it, we don't want them to go through all the hurdles that we went through. We want them to say thank you very much, so they can get there quicker, so they can springboard a little further ahead of us. So
I'm gonna, and I hate to keep not reiterating, but I'm taking what you say and I'm making it bite size. So basically, what you're saying, and or if I heard you right, I would say your tactic or technique is you network for team building. Like
yes.
We're networking, when we're out networking, we're enlarging our team. And that's what your network should be. Your network really should be your team of players. These are the people that you talk about, that you can refer business to, that you want to see grow, that you want to see revenue increase, that you're thinking about in 5 years, I have to do this show, I have to do this thing. This is the type of person I need on my team. How do I connect these people? That's should be networking. So your tactic is team building, right?
Yes.
We're putting a blue wave team together.
And it's constant. It never stops. You never stop, because there's always a younger version. I mean, think about it like this. The NBA, there's always new players that come into the NBA. Always. There's always constant players that are always coming, and you're always teaching them. So the 12th man might be this 19-year-old kid, and the star might be a 30-year-old veteran. But that 30-year-old veteran still has to talk to the 19-year-old kid, because the 19-year-old kid knows 60 other kids younger than him that are trying to get there. And you want them, that 19-year-old kid, to turn to the colleges and to the high schools and say, this is how we did it, and this is how you get here. So the more that you can give the information to your network and allow them to add little sprinkles to it, the better it is, because we can all grow from that.
Absolutely. So I think we talked about the importance of networking. We talked about partnerships. We talked about team building. So I'm going to let that be number 7. Number 8 is build your own network. Build your own network. That's the last one. I think that is one of the most important ones. A lot of people say and or feel like they don't know how to network. They don't have a network, or they don't know how to network, or they don't have an audience. Especially with the craze of Facebook right now, you can literally create your own network. I have 3 completely different networks. I have CoSire, which is my main business, of course. I have Black Entrepreneurs Striving Together, which is my group of entrepreneurs that are African American. I have over 5,000 people in that group. And then I have the Mogulvation Tribe, which is my group for entrepreneurs of any skew. There's no demographics or race, gender, creed, nothing like that. So I have these different networks of people that I can turn to depending on my messaging. So that's important. If you want to really have a network of people that are going to buy from you, that are going to sell for you, that are going to be able to knowledgeably speak about your business, you create your own network, right? Do you have, what would you say? Let me think about this question. So then your network, quote unquote, would be the Blue Way. Like everybody knows the Blue Way. If you hear the Blue Way, you know that you're talking about Dwayne Bluestein.
Everything.
Yeah, right. And everything is blue. So so we talked about image and brand consistency. Another, the Blue Way, the blue this, the blue that. Your brand is consistent all the way through. So building your own network, what would you say? How would you say? What kind of a tip would you give someone that had to actually build their own network?
The first thing that I would do is find out what you're doing it for. What are you trying to accomplish out of this? I mean, when you get this thing started, you say, I don't want to build a team. Are you building a team for multi-level marketing? Are you building a team because you're opening up a business? Are you building a team because you want more friends? What is the reason that you're building it? Then once you understand why you're building it, now give yourself a platform of saying, okay, like for myself, it was the Blue Way. I knew that I needed to build a brand that was different than everybody else that I could play off of my name. So I got the Blue Way Talk Show. I do everything the Blue Way. I mean, if you look at my hashtags for my Facebook and everything is the Blue Way, the Blue Way. And I did it in a way that it was so consistent over years that it's a name that just stuck. I didn't think that I was the smartest guy in the room. I just knew that was the brand that I needed to build for myself, and I believed in myself. So if there was one person that I was networking with, it was myself. I knew that I had to convince myself that this is what I was trying to go. And then once you get one person, and then 1 times 1, and then 2 times 2, and then 3 times 3, and then it just starts manifesting from there. And that's where my conversations is manifesting your destiny. And you have to figure out what your destiny is, and you have to believe in it just enough to say, yeah, this is coming true. So every time you believe in yourself and you see another piece saying, oh, it is working, more people are believing in it. The more people that believe in it, they follow you, they continuously follow you. And now I'm at the point where I don't even look at the followers. I look at the relationships, and it's all about great relationships of people that, hey, I heard about you. I seen your show on YouTube, and I'm like, I haven't done a Blue Way Talk show in 2 years. Right? So you guys are still watching that show, and I love it. So the moment that I come back with it and put it back on the air, it's not going to be something brand new. It was something already established. It was something that I've already put my mind to it. So I'm always telling people, if you're going to build your brand, know what your brand is about, and don't pay attention to everybody else. Pay attention to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to be proud of it. And if you don't have confidence in your own brand, no one else will. But you got to believe it yourself, even if it takes, and it's not going to take a day. It's not going to take 6 months. It's not going to take a year. It's going to take years to keep building, because I keep building and building and building. And like you said, I have 5,000 on.
Oh, did we go? Did we lose him?
Audiences. So.
Okay. Awesome. 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 Well, I thank you. Thank you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in tonight and for jumping in the seat. It's always a pleasure to have a guest, but it's even more pleasurable when it's a guest that's someone that I know and someone that I love. That makes it even more fun. I can knowledgeably speak about you like, oh my God, he rocks, as opposed to, I've never worked with them before, but we're going to see what they talk about.
Well, thank you. I want to thank everybody out there. I got to run because I got to go eat. I'm starving.
Okay, but go ahead. Thank you so much.
This is day 18, and I missed 17 other days. So I was like, let me get on here before I get in trouble. So
I appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that's, you guys see how networking works? Like, I can't even tell you guys enough. Like, I am a networker, and I'm always out there talking to people, building relationships, but you have those type of people that come into your life and push you to get out to do great things, and that is what Dwayne has absolutely done for me. So we ended with building your own network, and I didn't kind of get to go all the way into why it's important, but you want to have your own people to sell to, you want to have your own people to talk to, you want to have your own people to support you, right? That know your brand, that can talk about you, that can go into rooms for you, that can, so we talked about this earlier with third party. If you're looking to your Facebook as your network, if Facebook dies, goes out of business, breaks tomorrow, or worse yet, they put you in jail or take away your group, do you really have your own network? So we talked about one, creating your Facebook group. Like we talked about the, have the variety of different groups. If you're not in my group, join my group, right? I'm going to network with you. Join my group, which is join the Mogul tribe. But if not, you want to try to migrate your groups off of Facebook onto your own platform so that you can own those connections. Right now, if you're looking to your Facebook numbers or your social media numbers as your network, like I have a network of 45,000. If your network or Twitter or Facebook goes down, do you have 45,000 email addresses? Because that is the size of your true network. How many people can you touch? How many people can you talk to? How many people can you email? So one, do build your own network. Two, create your own group, get your own people. But three, get them to your website. Figure out how to get them to your email list. Figure out how to get them into your true network. You want to own those. You don't want to have a third party be the owner of that. So I'm going to go through these real fast. I'm going to retrace them. We have 13 minutes because we got a bonus Blab going on tonight. Tonight we have a Battle of the Sexes Blab going on at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about why do women invest in themselves more than men professionally. That's our bonus Blab tonight at 10 o'clock. So I got to close this Blab up in 12 minutes. So I'm going to go back over these. I'm going to have somebody jump in the seat, either Katani or Monica or Tracy or Latanya or Lisa, one of you guys. I want one of you guys to jump in the seat for me. So we talked about brand and image consistency. When you're networking, make sure you hand out a card and somebody looks you up, that you are who you say you are, that you represent yourself and your expertise in the proper way. So if you're networking and somebody Googles you, because they will, that it all matches. We talked about making sure that you're bringing something to the table, that you're adding value to the conversation. We talked about making sure that you know your audience. We talked about how to broaden your audience, right? Don't just hang out with people in your immediate industry. If you're networking, that means you're reaching outside of traditional means to broaden your network. That's how you do it like a mogul anyways. Don't talk about you. Let the other person speak first. If you do that, you can, number 5, be a problem solver. When you go to tell somebody what you do, you should be answering it in a way that answers one of their problems. Hi, I'm Lanee Javet. You know what? I heard you speaking earlier about having problems with your productivity. Oh my God, you're not eating dinner with your family? You know what I do? I'm a mogul motivator. So I help entrepreneurs be able to be more efficient in their business by implementing systems and processes. What type of a CRM do you use? Do you use a customer relationship management tool? Are you using a scheduler? Oh my God, you should try Acuity Scheduler. It will add, X amount of more hours to your day, and you can actually eat dinner with your kids. You know what they're gonna say? Oh my God, how do you know about that? Who are you? Welcome to my world. How can I do business with you? Boom. Let them speak first. When you reply, you answer the problem. They will ask you for your card. That's how you grow your network. Be a problem solver. Don't sell on the first date, right? Don't try to kiss them on the first date. Take your time. Get to know them. Take them out on a couple of dates. Build a relationship. Build a pipeline. Partnerships, make sure you have networking partners so that you can go into 5 different rooms at the same time. You want to make sure that you have people that can knowledgeably speak about what you do, that can refer your business, because those are the people that will bring you money, that can help you increase your network by bringing other people to you. You want to build your own network. Start a group. Have a membership site. Do something that allows you to actually build these relationships with people so that they know who you are and what it is that you do. Stop going to networking functions or business meetings or outings and handing out your card and not leaving an impression. Do something that's going to leave something on their mind. You answered a question, you added value, you solved a problem, you did something that made you stand out amongst everyone else, that made them keep your card and call you, whether today or in 6 months when they can use you. There has to be something that makes you stand out. If all you're doing is going to these events, giving your card and shaking hands and kissing babies, you're not networking. If all you're doing is looking at your social media numbers, and they say that there's 45,000 people that follow you, but only 7 of them are buying from you, you're not networking. There needs to be some type of engagement. Give and take, push and pull. That's true networking.